live here on the Extra Yard on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And this is a show first. Not only do we have the triple box, Hussam, who was nice enough to fill in for Troy earlier this week, is here. Troy is back from New Jersey. I told the people you were up there taking care of some mafia business, right? Hey, forget about it. You were up there with all those made guys up there in Jersey. But this is also a show first because Troy Stradford is actually going to be cooking during the show. So it's like we got the best of all worlds here. Sports show, cooking show. Let the people know what you're cooking down there.
Actually, I'm going to steam some broccoli. I'm going to make some rice, and I am going to make some pork chops.
Oh man.
The wife, she has a meeting she has to go to, so she told me I'm on my own. So I'm on my own.
I love it.
Because she's the real cook in the house.
And you got
gourmet.
You got your dog to feed there as well, I see.
Oh, you saw the dog?
Yeah.
He's so big now, and like he wants to be involved in everything. So yeah.
So
but he'll be all right.
Yeah, everybody today, and hello, Hussam. Let me introduce you as well before we start diving headfirst into Lamar Jackson. How are you again, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Short stint from when you asked me. I'm doing good. Ate some. Didn't really cook anything like what Troy's doing, but had some good hot chicken. Really enjoy it as well. Was spicy. Gave my tongue a little bit of a flavor blast, but thinking I should have brought it on here to eat on the show, just like the good old days, like we used to do in the Donno dailies.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah,
now
I want to see you eat that hot stuff where you just
the Reaper
sweating right away.
Donno, do you remember that day when Ethan came on the show and I was eating chicken biryani and I was just inhaling that shit?
Yes, I remember. I've never seen anyone eat so fast as when I saw that.
I'm having a beer too, by the way. Can I do that on like?
Yeah, are you kidding me?
I
mean, I'm actually kind of embarrassed that I'm just drinking water over here. I should have brought out like a shot of something.
Yeah, my good old Kirkland water bottle.
Hey, saving, man. Kirkland's signature. So the entire NFL world is talking right now about Lamar Jackson. It's been reported that the Ravens, in their offensive coordinator search, did not provide assurances that Lamar Jackson is actually going to return as the team's quarterback next year. So that goes to show you they're not all that confident. They're expected to franchise tag him, but with his future and his contract being far less than certain there's always then the possibility teams could try to blow away the Baltimore Ravens with trade offers, right? I'm seeing people talk about the Atlanta Falcons. There's always going to be talk about, the New York Jets. And so, Troy, let me start with you on this one. Hussam and I had a conversation yesterday about whether the Dolphins should go after Derek Carr, who's, a free agent now, or, do you, honestly, I gave the thumbs down as well. I ended up giving a thumbs down on that with Derek Carr. But, obviously you wouldn't have to trade assets for him. You would just have to pay him, money, maybe a lot of money. But in the case of Lamar Jackson, you're talking about having to make a blockbuster trade. Would you rather gamble, on Tua's concussion situation and gamble on him working out? Or do you put all your chips on the table, Troy, and do you at least try to get Lamar Jackson to Miami?
This is a tough one. I got to be honest. Because I always thought that Lamar Jackson would go back to the Baltimore Ravens and play next season under the franchise tag, right?
Yeah.
So 1 year under that, you're pissed off because they're not investing in you long term. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, Tua played for the Miami Dolphins this year, and we play it out. We see what happens. Because if we were to take a poll right now, I believe all three of us will say, I believe he's going to get hurt at some point this next coming season, right? Tua, his history says he's going to get hurt. So Lamar goes to Baltimore. He played one season under the franchise tag. And the Miami Dolphins, they go one more round with Tua. And if things go badly for the Miami Dolphins, then after that year of Lamar, if he's not traded elsewhere, They sit there and they go after him no matter what it takes, no matter who you have to trade outside of Tyreek Hill, maybe Waddle. You trade it and you go get Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a local kid, grew up here in Pompano, would love to come home. And that's how I see it for the Miami Dolphins. So unless the Baltimore Ravens are sitting there saying, we got to trade him now because we're going to lose him and we're not going to get anything for him. I'm sitting there saying Miami Dolphins is the ideal place for Lamar Jackson to want to go and continue his career and play at home. That's how I see it.
I agree with everything you said there. What do you think, Hussam, about Lamar Jackson either putting all your chips on the table now or maybe after a franchise tag season?
I think the idea of Lamar Jackson in Miami is just, it's fun for everybody involved, whether you're a Tua fan or not. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a former NFL MVP. He's been in the playoffs. He's got playoff experience. Although he hasn't had a lot of support from his organization, he hasn't had the weapons as well. The defense has carried him a couple times, but Lamar Jackson's just an exceptional player. I don't know if you guys remember my article back in September detailing that Lamar actually had the Dolphins on his short list of teams. He was initially offered a contract up to $290 million over the course of the contract, but only $133 million was guaranteed. Now, the thing is,
Hussam, you can't use only and $130 million in the same sentence.
Is that all?
You just can't do it. I know where you're going, but you just can't. You can't put that in the same sentence.
I can't put that in the same
how much
sentence.
Do you think?
I can't. The CBA rules have changed. That's how drastic it's gone up to. Because the thing is, Lamar, he wants a fully guaranteed contract.
Right.
Give it to him.
It's going to become a players' league very, very soon, sort of similar like to the NBA. Exactly, and it sets him up for success. Like, God forbid he gets hurt again. God forbid he gets another leg injury. But not only that, he didn't want Greg Roman as his offensive play caller if he were to continue his career with the Baltimore Ravens. Now we see Greg Roman isn't in Baltimore anymore. The Ravens just hired Georgia offensive coordinator Todd Monken, really, really good offensive coordinator at Georgia. Bright mind and was fantastic under Kirby Smart and his offensive scheme. And, they ran the ball a lot, but they also passed the ball when they needed to do with the Stetson Bennett. Now, here's the thing. Everyone's talking about, Lamar's not a passer, blah, 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 whatever. The guy's a former MVP. The guy threw for, I believe, 38 touchdowns his MVP year, his sophomore season, with only 6 picks. I mean, last year in Baltimore, even though he did get hurt, most of his throws were around the middle of the field, kind of like what the Dolphins offense does as well. But you got to think about it. The Dolphins, from what we hear and what it looks like, they're committed to Tua this year. The Ravens want to work something out with Lamar Jackson, but he has his list. Like, he could go to Atlanta. Yeah. However, I've heard that Atlanta is committed to Desmond Ridder and would not want to give up multiple firsts for Lamar Jackson. In their original trade discussions with the Cleveland Browns, you know what the Atlanta Falcons offered and what the Cleveland Browns accepted?
What's that?
I'm sorry, what the Houston Texans accepted?
Right, for
1 first-round pick.
Wow.
For Deshaun Watson. Wow. That's it. And they had initially accepted it. Imagine what it will take to get a former league MVP, a fantastic runner, a great passer, and a fantastic athlete in Lamar Jackson for the Atlanta Falcons.
Let me ask you this follow-up, though. Could he wind up with the New York Jets? Because that would honestly, like, that would really piss me off. Like, if I were Chris Grier, and sometimes I feel like I could do his job better than he does. If I were Chris Grier, I'd be thinking, like, okay, I've got some interest in Lamar Jackson, but maybe sticking with Tua is better for continuity, salary cap situation. But then if I catch wind of the Jets being close to making a deal, I say, I've got to get him because he makes my team better, and I got to get him so they don't get him. Like I know people always say, don't worry about other teams, worry about yourself. But when you're talking about a division rival, I do think you have to worry about other teams.
I don't think Lamar will go someplace where he will not want to go to. Lamar will do what Lamar wants to do. I mean, I even reported that his list included the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles as well, along with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, Philly, we know they're going to be committed to Jalen Hurts. They may sign him to a $50 million per year contract. And it looks like the Lions, they have the picks, they have the space. But, I mean, it's really up to Lamar and what he wants to do. Now, will the Jack
pass this on to Lamar? I played in Detroit, I don't know, like 6 weeks. He doesn't want to go to Detroit. Sucks. I was there maybe, I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks. Never saw the sunshine. The place sucks. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, I
don't care what Detroit has. Do not go to Detroit Lions.
They got that Detroit style pizza that's cut in squares. Does that appeal to you?
I never had.
I don't care. I don't care for the idea of it. Like, why do you got to cut in squares? Makes no sense.
I will say though, Detroit, just as a football team, they have a young team on the rise.
Yeah.
You know, they need a little bit of help on defense. They have a good offensive line. They have a running game. They have weapons, which Lamar hasn't had in his NFL career either. I mean, who has he thrown to?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who has he thrown to? You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Jameson Williams from Alabama. You have a fantastic, strong offensive line, kind of like how he did in Baltimore. I mean, why wouldn't you go to Detroit? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's locked
because it's Detroit.
Yeah.
Because it's Detroit, but strictly football terms, Troy. You know,
and at least they have a dome. Like I saw Justin Fields even mention in Chicago, like he kind of hopes they build a dome there because the weather is not ideal for a quarterback. And listen, I don't know how people in Chicago feel about those comments. Although if I were a Bears fan in Chicago, I wouldn't mind them building a freaking dome. I don't have to dress like I'm in Alaska every time I go to a game in November and December. So maybe there's something to that.
I've been reading, I guess, the last couple of days where the Chicago Bears may actually trade Justin Fields because do they have number 1 or number 2, 3? I don't know what they have.
Well, I do believe that the Bears have the number 2 overall pick, if I'm not mistaken, or the number 1. I believe they have the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, so people are saying that they may trade Justin Fields.
You got
I like Justin Fields.
Like they do have the number 1 overall pick, but
yeah, they do.
They have Justin Fields. He didn't have any weapons. He didn't have an offensive line.
Right.
Defense didn't give him that support. And I could kind of compare this to the 2021 year when everyone was telling the Dolphins to trade Tua away and draft Justin Fields. I mean, that's what it was.
Yep.
That's what this situation is. Like,
I was one of those people, by the way.
Justin Fields is very interesting. I gotta be honest. Before we came on and started this, I never gave Justin Fields a thought. Like I've read over the last couple of days where Chicago may trade him. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, so you are 100% sure that the potential quarterbacks that are coming out of college this year are better than Justin Fields, because Justin Fields, like you said, Hussam, he wasn't surrounded by a lot of weapons. And I sit there and say, you have to have a complete offense, right? Or defense, whichever way you're focusing. And for the Chicago Bears to sit there and say he didn't get it done and we're just going to bring in another quarterback, I don't know about that. Justin Fields, to me, he had more, I guess, highlights when it comes to running this past season.
And the thing is, Troy, he wasn't even a running quarterback at Ohio State.
Right.
He's a true pocket passer that can go through his progressions.
Yeah, I want to bring this back to the Dolphins in a second, but I want to remind folks that if you're looking for action, and we're going to have USFL and XFL, and we got NBA games. I know All-Star break now, but there are props to look at in the All-Star game, NHL games going on. You guys want to make sure you're signed up at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com, the Prize Picks mobile app. It's so easy to use. It's so much fun. It's fully legal in Florida, so it's very easy to make a deposit, very easy to make a withdrawal. You get your money right away. It's not like an offshore thing, anything like that. And it's so much fun because you're making these selections, guys. You sign up at Prize Picks. You use our code 5. That's FIVE. Spell it out, FIVE. They're going to match your first deposit up to $100. FIVE. And then you simply select, and you can go cross league and cross sport with these players. You select 2, 3, 4, 5 players. The more you select, the more money you can win. You predict if they go over or under their stat projections. And if you get all your picks correct, whether it's 2 or even 5, you win money, man. It's so much fun. It's so easy to use. I've been having a blast with it. Troy has. Hussam, I'm sure, is having it. You better be having a blast with Prize Picks, Hussam. You sign up at prizepicks.com or the Prize Picks mobile app. You make your selections, but make sure you sign up with our code FIVE5, and they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks truly is daily fantasy made easy. Guys, we're wasting our time talking about Lamar Jackson or any other quarterback coming here. Oh, Troy, I think you're muted.
Timeout.
You have to put the pork chops on?
I'm doing that now.
Okay.
I'm gonna bake them. But
okay.
I must say, Super Bowl.
How did you do?
I won 700.
Wow.
Whoa! So you were buying all the veal parmesan up in Jersey then?
Absolutely. It's funny.
Wow, $700.
Yeah, I was gonna just bet the over under, and I was gonna take Philly, giving a 1.5. I would have lost.
I took that. Yeah, I lost on that.
But I was in New Jersey, and so the website that I used for that wouldn't allow it. So last second, I called my son, and I said, "Dude, pull up Prize Picks, right?" And I said, "This is what I want." I said, "I want a bet of Patrick Mahomes under passing yards."
Smart.
And I want Jalen Hurts over passing yards.
Ooh.
And I hit that thing. So I enjoyed the Super Bowl because It was a great game. And I won money watching it.
Sounds like somebody knows their offensive and defensive teams for both teams, Troy.
Very smart. Yeah, I ended up coming out just a little bit ahead on my bets. And by the way, guys, make sure you check out our sports betting partner, betteredge.com, BETTOR edge.com. Sign up with our special URL, betteredge.com/5 reasons. They're going to give you a $20 sign up bonus. It's a social platform where you're doing sports betting, but it's fully legal in Florida because you're not betting against the house, you're betting against other people. So it's a really clever workaround, if we're being honest here. The site is great, betteredge.com/5 reasons. I came out a little bit ahead, not $700 ahead, more like $7 ahead maybe. But I came out ahead because thankfully, Troy, I took our guy Lee Sterling's advice and I bet the under on the national anthem. The under.
Oh, really?
He went under by like a second. Like it was, dude, I was sweating.
Second?
I had the stopwatch app on my phone. I was timing the national anthem, and like I'm here. I'm sweating profusely, and then I'm like, oh, did I start it at the right time? I didn't know for sure if he went under, but he went under by a second. And so,
really,
yeah,
that's crazy.
So Lee Sterling and his daughter are now 9-0 the last 9 years with the over-unders on national anthem. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of upset at myself that I only because I didn't want to put like the mortgage on the freaking national anthem. So I think I think I bet $15 on it. But like now I'm like, why didn't I bet $500 on the national anthem? Yeah, it would have been way better. But, a recent development, Troy, since the last time you and I spoke, because I don't think we've spoken since Tua was doing his interviews on Super Bowl week. We no longer have to worry about concussions because he is enrolled in Miyagi-Do karate, and he's properly, it's actually judo. It's judo that Tua is taking where he's going to learn how to fall correctly. But I joke, but there could be something to that, right, Troy? Because, you know, these judo guys falling really is an art form. And like, we can joke about it all we want, like he's in with the Cobra Kai now or something. But honestly, it's clearly the man does have issues falling because he hits the back of his head seemingly every time he gets pushed into the turf. So hopefully this judo can actually make a difference for him.
You know, the way I look at it, there is a lot of truth to that because a lot of people want to laugh at that. Yeah. When I read it, I go, okay, you're going to take judo and you're going to learn how to fall, go to the ground. If you have that in your arsenal, you know, your repertoire, I definitely think it would help you.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to this. When I was playing and I would run into big muscular guys in the bar or whatever, and
I thought this would have been on the football field. This was not the stuff
they were cocky. Yeah, they were cocky, like I could do this and I could do that. And I go, dude, the game of football is a work of art.
Yeah.
Like, guys aren't just out there like going crazy. Guys know how to move their legs, their arms, and you just can't. I don't care how strong you are, how big you are. You can't just walk onto a football field and play football because either you're going to get hurt, you're going to get one of your teammates hurt, or you're going to hurt someone on the other team. So I started thinking about this, and I go, all right. I like that he's studying something new to add to his, you know, his wallet that I believe it will pay dividends for him. Now, do I still think that he's going to get hurt? I mean, if you think about it, all the players that are out there, this is a 17-game season. Most guys are going to get hurt. I just hope if he does get hurt, it's something minor that he misses 1 week as opposed to 2 weeks or 3 weeks and jeopardizes the franchise's season because he got to miss 4 games or 5 games and then he got to rely on the backup who we have no idea who that backup is going to be right now because that's another important situation for the Miami Dolphins.
What is that? The preheat? Is the oven ready?
Something's beeping, right?
It sounds like your preheat. Or did you put the chops in already, or is that the preheat of the oven?
Chops are in.
Chops are in.
Rice is going.
Okay.
And broccoli is going.
You do have a nice kitchen. You do have a nice kitchen, by the way. Is that thing that's like above the stove there? Is that like a humidifier or something? Like it like does that like suck up the steam? What does that do?
This sucks up air. I don't know how to use it though. I don't know how to use it. Like this house has, and I can't believe I live like this. Honestly, I can't because I used to live by one. This house has no microwave in it.
Really?
None.
Wow.
No microwave. But
you should with those $700 you won, you should buy one.
Yeah.
There's no space. Like
I see.
When they put it all together, I can remember we sat there and we looked at it and we go, this is nice. And then I go, well, where's the microwave going? And there's no place for it.
Oh,
like,
man.
We don't want one sitting on the counter. So
yeah.
We managed to.
That's probably way better because like I use my microwave quite often, but people always say that like, oh, it's not good for you, what it does to the food and all that. So I don't know, man. Troy, you're gonna live to 150.
Donald, nothing is good for you nowadays.
No, that's true. That's true.
You know, nothing is good. And our oven is like super, so I'm not saying it works as fast as a microwave, but a couple minutes and everything is done. Like the first 2 months. We burned everything because the oven was like,
wow,
superb.
You could probably make good pizza in there then because you need like a really hot oven for that.
which we have. Yes,
Oh,
which we have.
my
Yes.
man. I wanted to get Hussam's take on something because Hussam's a little younger than the rest of us on this panel. 23 years old. I'm kind of wondering why. God bless you for even being a Dolphin fan, because you're not even old enough to really remember the last time they won a playoff game. You'd either not been born yet or you just been born the last time they won a playoff game. So for a 23-year-old man who's witnessed nothing but pain or mediocrity, what are your best Miami Dolphins memories? How did you become a fan?
Oh man, this is such a sad, sad thing to say. But initially I started off as a fan from my dad. He was a Dolphins fan. He came here in the late '80s, watched Dan Marino and stuff, and just got hooked onto them, and then onto the Jimmy Johnson years. He actually met Jimmy Johnson at a Shell gas station. He came out, and he
Really?
came out of his car, was filling up gas, went to go buy a bag of chips, and out the bathroom, Jimmy Johnson just comes. He's like, "Hey, I know
Wow,
you."
that hair! You see the hair from a mile away.
You see the hair, but my very first memory of a Dolphins game was Thanksgiving Day when Chris Chambers absolutely mollywopped. The Buffalo Bills had 2 touchdowns, 234 yards, and I was hooked. I mean, wide receiver became my favorite position. After then, I wanted to be like Chris Chambers. But I think my favorite memories, I think, was definitely when Philip Merling had, I think it was a strip sack or a pick six to win a bit against the Jets for the Dolphins' playoff berth in 2008. Obviously, the Miami Miracle. I mean, I went absolutely batshit crazy. I mean, I ran all over my neighborhood. I mean, the Tua to Jalen Waddle week 2 up against Baltimore. I mean, that was the first Dolphins game I watched without my dad, and oh my god, I lost. Oh man, that was just such a good play and just such a good game. And then obviously, I think number 1 for me was when Cleo Lemon threw the game-winning pass.
Greg Camarillo.
Greg Camarillo in overtime versus Baltimore in 2007 when I was a kid. I was in 3rd grade back then, and I fucking lost my shit. We're not going undefeated. Next thing you know, is
winless. Yeah,
2008.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's awesome, man.
The life of a young Dolphin fan. I'm just glad you're a fan. Yeah, go ahead.
Not to forget when Andrew Franks scored the game-winning field goal in 2016 in Buffalo.
I remember that.
Propel the Dolphins to the playoffs in 2016.
Yep.
See, I don't remember that.
Well, because Troy remembers the actual good times.
Because Troy actually remembers playing.
Yeah, right. He remembers playing in some of the best games. Well, listen, I love it. Troy, I'm so happy you're back, man. And you'll have to let us know how the pork chops come out tonight, because I know the wife left you alone for dinner. So hopefully they come out A1. And I hope you don't need to heat. I hope you don't need to heat anything up quickly in that kitchen of yours.
No. Actually, I learned how to eat some food cold, not cold, but room temperature.
Yeah.
Which, in my previous life, I would have never done such. And I thought, okay, this is not bad. It's all right.
Ain't too bad. So, Troy, let me ask you this before we go. I think this is the first show we've ever been on together.
It is.
What was your favorite play when you were playing with the Dolphins?
Me personally?
You personally.
Me personally. My favorite play. That's a good question. I got to think about that.
Making the man think.
I had to make him think.
I don't know if there's one play, but I used to love. It wasn't one play. What I loved most was because of my stature, right? I wasn't the biggest guy. And I'm talking not high school, but college and then pro. I would be challenged early on. This is why I'm one of those guys that says, I'm never deferring the kickoff. I want the ball right now. because I don't care who you are nervous before a football game. And I used to be nervous as hell before every game that I ever played in, every game. And I just wanted to be hit, because as soon as someone hit me, I'm like, all right, it's on. Because they would always talk shit. They would say to me without fail, "You little motherfucker." And my response would be, "I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here at the end." And I would love going up to them late in the game, patting them on the back. I wasn't one of those ads tappers. Pat them on the back, and I go, "I'm still here, yo." And they ain't have nothing to say. Like, I can recall, like, playing against Billy Bates. I don't know if you guys remember Bill Bates. He was a safety with the Dallas Cowboys, known as a headhunter.
Oh, yeah.
Would take people out, big hips and everything. And, like, he tackled me once, but, like, I shook his ass a couple times. And we get off the ground, and, you know, he kind of talking shit. And I go, dude, you can't play against me like that. You better slow your game down. Otherwise, I'll be doing this to you all day long.
Damn.
I just love when someone challenged me, because then all those nerves that I had in the beginning of the game, they're gone. It's like, all right, are you kidding me? Like, let's go.
Dude, that's a great question from Hussam, and an even better answer from Troy. I love it.
I'm just marveling at the fact, like, I just Googled up Bill Bates, right?
Oh.
3-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowl in 1984, 2-time second all-team SEC, all-rookie team. Like you just
said. And I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie, and I go, dude, you cannot play against me like that. Slow your game down.
He said, "Do you know who I am?"
I love
like it. You don't know.
By the end of the game, he knew.
He knew by the end of the game. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, huge shout out and thank you to Hussam, to Troy, to everyone who took time out to chat with us, like Cap, Andy, who listens over from Scotland. We appreciate him from across the pond, Mr. 305 for real. Anthony, thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys again next time. If you guys get a chance to listen, I'm going to be filling in for Mark Hochman tomorrow on the Hawk and Crowder show, so you can hear me from 2 to 6 p.m. on 560. And then we'll be back on the Extra Yard on Monday right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.